Hello, hello. This is your friendly neighborhood mahjong player from Poland, Krabman. And today I wanna talk about studying mahjong. So there are different ways to study a mahjong. I would say there are two main approaches, and that's the case for any skill you might want to learn, any game, any musical instrument, any field of knowledge, and so on. So self study and guided or mentored studying. So there are people who prefer to dive deeper into the subject on their own with YouTube videos, books, articles, and such. And there are people who straight away look for a teacher or a mentor or a guide and start working with them. Probably, as with many things, the best way is somewhere in the middle, so combining both approaches. So you have to learn on your own. You have to learn to recognize your mistakes on your own and be conscious of what you know and don't know and what you have to work on. But defining those things is not quite easy, especially when you're a newbie. So self-studying sometimes can only take you so far, and it may lead to many bad habits, because at the start your understanding of the subject is very limited, so therefore you're not able to analyze everything properly. So yeah, I'm in the guided camp, learning with a teacher, with a mentor. But it wasn't until 2019 or maybe last year that I actually started working with someone closer on a regular basis. And so with mahjong, like with mahjong, you can learn with books, you can learn with articles, and you can obviously go through your own games and analyze them. But like I said, you're gonna have a lot of blind spots, because you're limited by your understanding of the game and limited by your bad habits. So be careful with that. And one of the methods that I've heard a lot of people mention, especially the ones that are more like brainy people who like to think, analyze, and know the basics of critical thinking, and so they like to approach mahjong like a problem to solve, and they want to do it on their own. So one thing they do, and even casual players mention that as a method for getting better. So watching strong players and learning from them. So either pro games or Tenho games. I think, well, it's definitely a lot of fun to watch pro games because of the visual presentation, the automatic tables, the way they move their hands so smoothly, and just enjoying mahjong games played by someone else. They can be as exciting as playing yourself. I understand that, and the same goes, I guess, for online games. Watching really high level players is just entertaining and inspiring. I think it's a great way to motivate yourself to keep working, keep grinding, if you're having a lower moment. But in terms of educational value, I would say that just watching strong players play is not very useful, not very effective, and well, basically it's for the most part it's just a waste of time. And here's why, especially I'm talking especially about beginners or newbies, casual players, and this is the same what I said before. So their understanding of the game is very limited. They don't know how to judge situations. They don't know what their skills are lacking. So just watching other plays will not do anything for them, because the biggest problem with watching others play is that unless you're in touch with that person, you have no way of asking what exactly they were thinking. So if you're a beginner or a newbie, and you just put on some 10 ho games, so players above 7 dan, so advanced, they're super advanced experts, high elite gods of mahjong, and you just watch them play, and you scroll through logs, for example, and if you're gonna watch players for educational purposes, I would rather focus on 10 ho games. Well, they're much more convenient to scroll through, and you can go back, you can review everything, you can take your time. Oh, obviously you can pause a YouTube video, but the game goes on, and you're kind of you have to kind of go with the flow, whereas in case of 10 ho logs, you can just do whatever you wish. And on 10 ho, just going by the players' ranks, you're sure that they're very, very skilled players, most likely, because pro games, I think there's a variety of pro players, and unless you're watching like the top of the top players, you might be watching someone who's maybe Tokujo level, and this is not a player who's an authority in mahjong, so you can't trust their moves. They might make a mistake, miscalculate something, or just get distracted. You don't know. So if you wanna learn anything from the games, you watch whole games. But again, for beginners, newbies, or even 10 ho players, Tokujo players, be it lower Tokujo or mid Tokujo. I am somewhere lower mid Tokujo, this skill range. So even for players like me and lower rated players, this will be for the most part useless, and for the exact reason that I mentioned. High level players, advanced players, see the table differently. They see the hands differently, and you have to be aware of that. You have to be humble, and unless there's a way to ask them directly what they were thinking in that moment, you won't. There's no way to know. So you can try and guess why they did that, but you won't know for sure. So make sure that you're watching someone you can ask directly about the decision, or at least before you draw any conclusions based on a player's decision. And by the way, whole players can make mistakes too. They might miscalculate things, or they might not play optimally for in a specific turn. So I don't think you should ever trust anyone 100%, but obviously the highest rated players are definitely very, very consistent and very effective. But also their way of thinking, their train of thought is totally different, and you can never hop in their shoes and just come up with good reasoning just the way they did, because you don't have the tools for that. Your understanding of the game doesn't match them, and there's a gap of like 2 classes between you and them. So there's no way you can draw any conclusions that can be trusted and that can serve you as a player. Yeah, so as an example, so you, before you draw your conclusions or decide on your judgment of a situation and decide that, oh well, maybe that's a move like I can copy, be sure you can contact whole players. It doesn't have to be that person, but you may just want to ask other whole players who may be willing to tell you why that person might have played that way. But it still won't be guaranteed that it's the logic they used, and it takes a lot of time, and it might be annoying to these whole players if you keep asking them questions which are beyond your skill level. And I've done that, been there, done that. and I kind of stopped, or at least I don't do that as often as I used to. And I guess my goal is to just stop doing this at all. But just to give you to prove the point, I'm gonna go through a log of a super high rated player. He's a 10 dan, rated over 2300. Just crazy. This is definitely the cream of the crop, as they say. I think I will most likely never be at that level. For me now, even getting to 6 dan is still my dream, and let alone beating Tokujo and climbing hall. That's probably unreachable. Let's be realistic. So I'm gonna watch this person's game, and I'm gonna try to maybe not reason with them, because I can't, but I will just give you my ideas for these cards and compare with their decisions. And this is a log I haven't seen before, and it will be evident as soon as I start discussing it. Yeah, so you will see how, even though, well, a lot of times maybe I will choose the same discard, but a lot of times I will be off and I won't know the reason. I will maybe try to come up with a reason, but will it be correct? Will it be the good way of thinking? And will it be helpful for me as a player? I don't know. Because one thing you have to realize, watching other players' game, if you just do it randomly, like pull up some log and just go through it and compare your choices and think a little bit about the differences and just move on, it serves no purpose. It's a waste of time. You might enjoy doing it, but it's objectively a waste of time. You might think you're learning something, but you won't. In the long run, it won't benefit you. So you have to be very specific. So if you're working within some community of stronger players, Tokujo, higher Tokujo, maybe whole players, and you might be aware of what your shortcomings are, then focus on these. If you have trouble with calling judgment, look for tricky calling situations and see what that person does. If you have trouble with push-pull in S3 or S4 or E3, E4 in Tompu, focus on these situations. If you have a trouble playing beta ori consistently, try watching high-level players play beta ori. Things like that. So be very specific. Don't just focus on everything at once, because it'll be a mess all over the strategy map, and you won't learn anything. So you have to address your biggest weaknesses. So if you see a situation that you would definitely push and you see the player fold, well, maybe this kind of, and look for general scenarios like east, south 3, south 4, not just random situations that are one of a kind. And remember that this high level player sees them in a different way. They can process a lot more information, they can connect the dots much better, and they probably have some reading skills under their belt. I think it's said under their belt, or maybe in their pocket, but something you're missing. So there's no way you can judge the situation. Even though you see what they did, you won't know why exactly, unless you can ask them directly. And even if they give you an explanation, it's not necessarily something you're gonna be able to use in your games when you're under pressure. And it might be a minor thing that's important in high level games, but it's not important for you. So always double check and be sure to only learn stuff that will benefit you directly. That's approximately at your level, only slightly higher. Don't try to think up ideas about very, 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 very tense, very complex situations, unless you're ready to do that. Okay, so let's go and have some fun, because it is fun, like I said. But I think nothing beats getting a teacher, like one person that you work with, a competent teacher who will get to know you, who will get to know your current level and your shortcomings, your worst habits, and start working with that. Now, this is absolutely, in my opinion, this is the best way to work. Obviously, you have many books, and for beginners and newbies, I recommend just Ricci book and companion sister materials. It's not only Ricci book, there are a couple more, and stick to that unless you're like average or slightly above average Tokujo, and then maybe start of expanding your ways to study, or your ways of studying. Okay, so for now this seems like rather simple, right? It looks like a Ricci hand, and obviously we're gonna cut the Yakuhai, even though it's our wind, and beginners like to keep their winds or dragons, but if you see that the hand is a Ricci hand, there's no point doing that, but you have to teach yourself how to recognize Ricci hands, or hands that should better stay closed. Okay, next draw. Well, I would discard just 9-so. We have a pair of 9-pin and 4-so. We don't need that. It's the set here is ready, so we don't need that 9-so. Sumogiri. Okay. So I would probably play 9-so. So 9-so would be my default move, I think. Obviously you can switch the red 5 for the normal 5. But I would probably play 9-so. Okay. And do I know why he did that? I don't, but the theory says that when you have 3 pairs and one is in Ryanman, you usually just keep the Ryanman as it is. So maybe it's that, and also 9-so is safe here and above. Okay, we have the Dora. So still for me 9-so, but the only tile hanging is 2-so, because now 2-so, 4-so is most likely to become the pair. So 9-so, 2-so. Yes. Okay, Ishanten. Now it's probably fairly easy now. So even though the 7-pin overlaps here, you wanna keep the 8 because it's the Dora. So we'll probably drop 6 or 9-so. Yes. Improvement. This is very standard. Nothing fancy. Yes, and I think we have to declare each because we have Ryanman weight and 1 Dora.
Each?
Yes, okay. Let's keep on going. Okay, with Oya. And again, this looks like something that could aim for each. We have 5 blocks already, so no opening for us. We are past opening. I'm sorry. Yeah, we do have 5 blocks. Okay, I got lost for a second. The shape is partially bad, but we have supporting tiles, none 3, so Shampon is very important. So the only choice is the wind or tune. So keeping tune means keeping a chance for pairing it up, so going for an open hand. You can also play tune before to just discard it while it's the least likely to be called. So you can drop either, and the Shy is obviously gonna be safer later, most likely, but you can also drop it now. Well, let's see what he does. Okay, this is very well at high level. It probably matters more. In Tokujo, it's still something that a lot of players shouldn't dabble in or dabble with. I don't remember because the skill gaps or the holes in skills. I don't know what I'm talking about. There are still bigger holes in our skills to patch up rather than just wild honor or Yakuhai problems. Dabuton, so definitely better than Chun, right? Too fast, but this is Ryanman improvement. Okay, this is standard. Now again 3 pairs, but I would probably keep the 3 pairs. But you can also drop the 2-pin because it's in Ryanman. Let's see what he does. Yes, so maximum efficiency. Straightforward. 4 pairs, but we'd have to drop the 5, so which makes this block very weak. And we cannot drop none because it's our 5th block. So we have to Tsumogiri.
See.
Okay, Kami makes a call. He's below us and he has 2 Dora, so he's now a might threat. We don't want to feed that guy for no reason. Okay, so we have 2 pairs in Ryanman, and it's probably best to discard one of them. The stronger weight is 1-4, so I would probably drop 2-pin. Okay, 7-pin, but here's, okay, so I know it's 7-pin, so 3 pair situation, not cutting the pair from the strongest Ryanman, but why, I don't know. Maybe it's because there are 2 1-pins out, maybe it's because the 7 will be more dangerous later, I don't know. There are a couple of ways to approach that problem, but it's a quite minor problem. Let's focus on bigger things. Okay, Triso becomes useless, we have a complete set, and now we're Ishanten. Probably will, okay, Shimocha. Now, a lot of people, a lot of players stuck in Jokyu and newbies, they get this, as soon as they learn that Oya gets a Renchan and gets more points, also loses more points on Tsumo, so they want to avoid people's Tsumo, so they're pushing. And a lot of players will push that because it's Ishanten and it's Oya, but using that as an argument, it's a no factor really that you are Oya. It's a bad way to think, just attacking because you're Oya. You have to always make your decision based on the current situation. So you're in the lead and you're 1 away from ready, but the hand's marginal. It's only Richie Pinfu. So there's no good reason to push that hand. Let Kamicha and Shimocha fight and kill each other. So I would defend here with, well, the only thing, well, Forso is Suji, but obviously we're gonna go with the safest style, so probably none. Now 3-pin. Okay, they drop none. And again, that's maybe because Kamicha just sumo Tedashi just made the Tedashi 8-man. So he might be waiting on 3-pin, even though he didn't call it earlier. But who knows? Who knows? Like I said, this judgment may be way off. And it's, again, that was beta ori, so I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, made the first discard before I said anything. So now one of our wins is discarded and one Hatsu is discarded, but it's more likely than that people don't have our win, I guess, because none of them were dropped after the initial one by Shimocha, so I would probably drop Hatsu. Chun was discarded once as well. Okay. 6-pin is quite useful. We don't have 5 blocks. We have the Zion Renkei here. But 6-pin is still useful, definitely. So Hatsu, probably. Haku is a lifestyle now. 2-pin, I'm not sure about this 2-pin. We have enough material, but that's another chance to get Ryanman. So maybe Haku this time. Okay, no. See? There's a difference. That's the difference. Why? I don't know. Maybe they decided there's enough material. Is it actually helping me getting better? I don't think so. It's just it's just like a quiz. It's something fun to do, but education value is not very high. I should have discussed it. Okay, so they want to have 1 man as the pair. And now what? 2 away from ready at this point. We have 2 Dora. Oh, 6-pin is the Dora. See, I didn't even look at the Dora. Silly me. So the Doras kind of saved this hand from being unplayable. At least we have 2 Dora. So now probably houou finally. No idea why. I wouldn't even consider one man. No idea. Beats me, totally beats me. See, that's why. If you ask this player, they give you an explanation, but still, their judgment is so high level that you won't be able to use that. You don't have this experience. You don't have this feel for the game. I wouldn't even consider one man. I don't know if it's Itsu in Sozu. Maybe they want to keep the Yaku high. Have Tudora keep the Yaku high to speed up the hand. No idea.
Each.
And in hou, I would imagine there's a lot of estimating what the other players are doing, so judging their hand speed based on the discards, and people below hou or even maybe some hou players, they say they're not good at that. And a lot of beginners try to be clever and try to pretend that they know what they're doing, and they're trying to estimate people's hands speed. But they're usually off, and it's not something that's useful to them as players, because they have, like I said, they have much bigger issues: style efficiency, calling, push-pull, beta ori issues, and it all kills their games. And they think that learning this half-assed flat earther style discard reading will help them be stronger, but they're missing on so many fronts that it doesn't matter. So you go from major issues to minor issues, and discard reading, estimating other players' speeds is a fairly minor issue in Jokyu, in Tokujo as well. But I think in upper Tokujo, if you really want to beat Tokujo, it's something that you should look into. But be sure to get your head around other things. Okay, so now we're gonna defend, but let's see the order. If I get the order down. Yeah, so our wind is actually not safe. Houou isn't safe either. So we have Tuso, 8 man, 8 pin. I don't know, I would probably drop 8 man. Tuso, okay. One so pass. Okay, Shimochi, our savior. I think I'll make it only. I'll only do the east round because before it gets too long. Okay, this seems. It could be a Tanyao hand, Tanyao Dora if we are lucky, or it could be Richi hand. But the shape is promising, I would say. So we might get 3 blocks in Sozu, 2 blocks in Pinzu, 1 in Manzu. Would be the distribution of blocks, but we'll see how it goes. And the first discard, probably none. I don't think the hand's good enough to discard houou. Yeah, I don't think it's good enough to discard houou. So 9 man or none. Yeah, let's see. None. Okay. And now probably 9 man. Houou. Okay, why? No idea. 9 man is safe against Toyman, that's the only thing. And maybe they think the hand's good enough to get rid of Yakuhai before anyone is able to call it. That's also a thing. Okay, now probably 9 man. But I can also see how they would cut 2 pin. 9 man. And pawn. Oh, I didn't even...
Pawn.
Okay. 2 away from ready. Actually, 1 away from ready. Kutsuki. 2 pin, the weakest style. Yes.
Pawn.
And 5-8. Okay, this was a straightforward. Let's see if they're in a push-pull situation.
Each.
They are. Okay. So now we can drop 6 pin or 7 pin. 7 pin is safe, and especially on Tenho, we don't want to deal into the last player with such a marginal hand as this one. So probably 7 pin is the best discard. But yes, 6 pin we have to remember that both the 6-9 and 3-6 are still possible. We can see 3-5 pins, but the weight's still possible. So probably 7 pin, but maybe they're gonna push the 6. Okay. 1 so. I think it may be pushable with 5 tiles next to it dead. But if it's not pushable, we need to cut 8 so. Okay, it's pushable. It's pushable. So my judgment is kind of okay here. Now we can can. We cannot switch to Ryanman because it's Fury 10. We can, but who will benefit from can? I think it's more likely Toyman to benefit because they're with the one with the Ricci. So I would probably give up at this point. 2-5 is a really scary weight. Good, Crabman-san. Good. I didn't. Shoot. So the clicking the arrows is kind of ingrained in my brain, so I sometimes just do it because when I review my logs, I usually do it very, very quickly because I know the reasoning behind most of my decisions. I remember it. Okay, they just pushed 5 pin. Now it's the Dora weight. It's 3.9. Ooh, lucky. Let's see if it's actually 44. Yeah, 44. Very nice. 5.2. 44. 5.2. Okay. Now this is one of the typical scenarios. So you have to be able to recognize major scenarios in the game. So this is scenario 2x2. There are 2 players far behind and 2 players quite close to each other. So it's mostly a contest for first, second, and third, fourth place, last place. Well, no one contests for 4th place, but someone needs to get it. No one can escape that. Okay, so since we're in the lead, I think Yakuhai, even if we weren't in the lead, I think Yakuhai has more value than 1 man. Yes. The Ukeiro overlaps, but it seems like we can still use it. So maybe one of the dragons. Yes. Dragon. Yes. Dragon. Ooh, Hakul. Lifestyle. But see, Chun was a lifestyle as well. So maybe it was more about getting rid of it, rather than thinking 5 pin is useful. But they didn't do it here. Why? I don't know. And no one knows. Maybe definitely some hall players would have an idea, a better idea than me. Oh, and now they kept it. No, we have 7 pin Ukeire, so it's kind of helpful. Okay, now they're fixing Ryanman. That's kind of what I understand. And now they're getting rid of this tile, which is useful. And now I'm just reviewing the log again. I have to get back to actually discussing the choices. I'm not sure. We can keep it, we can drop it. I think I would keep it and drop Haku or Chun. Once or no? We can see Shimocha did 7 pin 4 man 5 so Tadashi, so that they should be pretty close to Tenpai. Pawn. But we don't mind. With we are 2 away from ready after calling, but we don't mind. Wow. And I didn't say whether I would pawn or not.
Pawn.
Okay, now it seems pretty straightforward. Now I wonder whether they will drop Haku or a Sozu tile. Probably Haku. to maximize acceptance. Now it may be forso, because keeping 3 so uke seems more important than forso. But forso you can pawn and 3 pin you can pawn. So to me it's either 2 so or forso. Okay. In tempai. No ricci. Okay. Easy. Okay, let's keep on going. Who cares about the length of the video? No one watches it anyway. Okay, it seems like 9-man tsumogiri.
Pon.
Wow, again, surprised me with a call. Oh, I wouldn't dare to call that. I like Tanyo Escapes. I love Tanyo Escapes. It's Dora Dora 2. And so the thing is, we have 3 blocks for Tanyo, 3 pairs for Tanyo, and 6-man forso for Tanyo. So we have enough blocks. So this is a typical hand for Tanyo Escape, but I'm not sure if I would dare to call it. Haha. But yeah, I can understand why. At least. And see, we have 1 more block in Manzu. Now keeping 1 man for probably for safety, our Yakuha, and dropping the useless block.
Pon.
But starting with 9 so, because 8 so we can draw a pair of 8 so. So now probably 1 man. 6 man. 8 so, okay. Okay. Maybe because Toyman seems to be going for Sozu. I don't know. Maybe. Manzu can create a nice shape too with the 5 man. 7 man, Ryanman. Okay, now we can drop 6 man, it seems. Okay. That's interesting. It's maybe slightly safer than 6 man. Okay. Now maybe 6 man, yes. But I have no idea what they did, why they didn't keep Nan over 6 man. I don't know. No, this is easy push. At least the Haku. Oh, this is interesting. So this hand is very important if we want to score first place, because this is Mangan. So we can switch the way to Tanki, and then the number of outs is almost the same, so it's 3 versus 4. I'm not sure if it's a big difference. And force, this is all I can notice, and this is okay. I can judge this situation. So we have forso half suji. 3 pin is musuji, so, but it deals into 1 Ryanman. 3-6, as well as a penchan, kanchan. All weights are possible. So I would probably drop the 4 so, and 2 so is a low dealing tile, so maybe someone will drop it. And you see 3 pin tsumogiri, and I have no idea why.
Sumo.
Nice, Toyman, nice. Okay. This seems straightforward. So pay none, maybe dragons. So we have 3 blocks and 3 ukipai. It seems like we should use all the ukipai. So definitely, well, I think pay loses with 1 pin. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, there's Honitsu too. Now pay a none, probably, or the dragons. 2-pin, I think strategy says keep it, even though it threatens with Furiten. 1 4-pin will be Furiten, but keep it anyway, so I wonder what they'll do. I would probably drop none. Okay. Hatsu? Just by the fact that it's been discarded. Now none? Yes! 2-pin? Yes! I just found a funny way to speak. I hope it's... Well, if it's annoying to you, well, stop watching, because I'll be doing it more. Tune! Yes! Good! Wow, flexible Dora neighbor. What do we do with it? I think... Well, we can cut... There's also Itsu in Manzu. But the overlap there is horrible. So I would consider... Really, I would consider 1 man 7 Sohaku, but I would probably drop Haku. Ryanman, yes, now we can get rid of the overlap in Manzu. Or maybe 9 man if we wanna keep Itsu. Ooh, we wanna keep everything. We wanna keep everything. Tuso and 9 man. Wow, but are they considering Itsu? Maybe. I can't be sure of that. But probably, yes. It looks like it. Okay, now they have a Suji trap, and I stopped talking again. I stopped discussing. Tsumogiri. Okay, now it seems like a straight 9 man or Tuso. I think both are okay. I would probably drop 9 man. Yes. Supporting tile. Yes, keep it. No Saki. And Riichi. Yes. Sanshoku is not guaranteed. So we really only have Pin Fudora. Tanya is not guaranteed. Sanshoku is not guaranteed. And we're more... If we Dama, we're more likely to get the 9 so. So no Tanyao, no Sanshoku. Yes, I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player. Okay. Looks like Sha 9 man. Sha 9 man. I would probably drop 9 man. Yes. 1 pin. It might become Honitsu. Ton! Surprise! That's a surprise for me. Wow. I wouldn't even consider Ton, even though it was dropped. Wow. But is it something that I can learn? That if 1 Ton is discarded and I'm Oya, I should drop the other one where I have... When I have 1 pin hanging and Shah, see, it's confusing, and it's confusing. And I've played this game for 10 years, and it's confusing. So now Shah, Haku, okay. Shah, none, getting rid of all the dangerous tiles that can be called. Nice. Okay. Now Shah has to go. Yes. We are 2 away from ready. Probably Tsumogiri. Chun? Lifestyle. Tsumogiri. Yes. I should assign points to myself. I should give myself points for choosing the right discard. Well, the one that goes along with what the player did. I'm not sure if it's the right choice, and the player may not know if it's the right choice sometimes. They might still make a mistake, even though they're super efficient like machines. Yeah. Okay, now it's kind of Was Ishanten, so I wanna drop 3 pin. But I'm not sure. I wanna drop 3 pin. Yes. Fifth pair. So probably 6 pin. Yes. I think like 6 saw is stronger because if we draw 5 saw, we have San Menchan. Maybe that's the reason. And here comes Riichi. It's our direct opponent. We're waiting on their safe tile, but we have to declare Riichi, I think. This is just head-to-head combat for first place. Dama. Interesting choice. Interesting choice. So Dama is usually to either leave yourself a way to defend, but that's not the case here, most likely, or just increase your win rate. So they wanna just catch somebody off guard. And what I missed is the fact that there are 2 Riichi sticks and 1 Homba. So this is 3.9 plus 2.3. That's a lot of money. Oh, that's what I would miss it in the game, see? But I don't think Riichi is a big mistake. I say that a lot without really being sure. But I don't think Riichi is a big mistake. Because even if you deal in here, I don't think there's a high chance you'll end up last. But it's the winning chances with this kind of money we're dealing here. Winning chances are important. Okay, so see, I'm having a lot of fun because this is actually what I do sometimes. Not very often, but maybe I should do it more often, and maybe even on streams. But who wants to hear my on streams? Who wants to hear my blabbering? Uneducated blabbering. Probably 9 pin. Hatsu. Okay. Oh, and we have no pair. But I don't think 9 pin is useful with the shape we have. We have Arianemen in Manzu. We have Yonrenke in Sozo. I think there's enough pair candidates. So 9 pin. 1 so. Okay, 3 pin. This is kind of an easy hand. And they're not calling because they're fighting, and Tanya is unsure, uncertain, and it's only Tanya Odora, so what's the point? Don't call, be patient. You're chasing a golden goose, and you don't want to deal into Toyman Kamicha, so you have to remember about last place avoidance. Good. So now, what's stronger? 2-3 man. 2-3 man for Sanshoku maybe. Yes, 2-3 man. Sanshoku. 3 man. Wow, no Sakigiri. 8 pin stays. Because now 5-8 pin, 5-8 man give Tenpai. This is I don't have the name for this, but this is very exciting shape. Very exciting shape. And obviously Sozu for 7 Tenpai as well. Very exciting. Good! Good! Now I think hit them with Riichi. Hit them with Riichi. We don't see any Dora. Toyman called once, 1 Dora. Maybe someone might be holding but I don't know. Maybe on 10 Hodama is good. Maybe on 10 Hodama is good. Tanyao Pin Fudora. But it's Mangan. So I would say Reach. I would say Reach. 4-7, 5 outs. I'm confused. See, this is kind of scenario that I'm struggling with very much. So this is something that I have. This is something for me to learn. But will I learn it from just one decision here? No. Because there are different scenarios in Mahjong. It's a very complex game. Different discards by the players. calls, not calls. But in general, this is a very crucial scenario to be good at. So S3, we're fighting mostly for keeping the second place. We don't want to deal into something like Dabunan, Dora 4, Haneman to Toyman. And we only have 5 outs. I would lean towards Dama. Towards Dama, because our weight's slightly weaker. In standard rules, I would probably Ricci, but here I would Dama. But let's see what the player does. Ricci! Yes! Exciting. This is exciting. So yeah, so I think I was wrong. I don't remember what I said earlier, but we're not pushing. Well, the one above is not in the last place. The last place is here, so that makes a huge difference. So yeah, even if we deal to Toyman and the scenario like Dabunan Dora 4 is not as likely as I might think. It's a very unlucky scenario. Toyman is, I think the highest probability is that they're doing a fast hand just to secure third place. Kamicha, I have no idea what they're doing. They just want to get some points. Anyone might have none. So this is incomplete information, and just assuming that Toyman has Dabunan Dora 4, the worst case scenario is gonna hinder your push-pull game definitely, and it probably hinders my push-pull game. So 5 outs is still good. So like I said, if we deal into something like 3.9 or even a Mangan, we are still above last place. So it's not a huge loss, but if we win here, it's a huge step before getting back to first place, I think. So this is just Ricci. But am I actually learning something? What I see is just that I would do something different. And like I said, focus on this type of decisions, not some minor things like, minor for your level, just like mine. Decisions between terminal or a Yakuhai are fairly important, but Yakuhai versus Wild Honor, this is very minor stuff, and you should probably focus on more important issues such as this one. This is a game changer. Whether you Dama here or Ricci, this is a game changer for you in terms of getting first place and so on. So focus on the crucial decisions, on critical decisions, and not minor stuff. So like I said, you have to know what to focus on. You have to know your shortcomings. You have to know your worst habits, and the easiest way to find them is just letting other players, strong, competent players, analyze your games and point it out to you, and then you will know what to focus on. But in general, I think strong players advise against watching high level games at all, for the reason I stated, because you have no way to judge the situation the same as the player. You're not at that level. Even if you know what they were thinking, you most likely wouldn't be able to use it in your own games. So you might think like you're learning something. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, nice. Why they did that? Oh my God, what were they thinking? This is natural curiosity for people. A lot of us are like scientists. We have this little scientist inside, curious beast. But there's an impression that you're learning something, and there's you actually learning something, and there's a huge difference between that. You have to understand that. So just because it feels like you're learning something doesn't mean you're actually learning something. So even if you want to learn something from these situations, you have to encounter this specific scenario again with similar close point distribution, which at some point will come. These are not that rare, this kind of scenario, 2x2. This is a fairly common scenario, but very specific. So yeah, even if you remember, well, I should Ricci to fight for first place. Judgment changes based on people's discards and actions and other stuff. So it's hard to find systematic things that you could learn. So it's much better to learn from your own games, from your own mistakes. And this is, I think, this can be said objectively. This is a much better way to improve your skills than and discussing your logs with stronger players, and working on your reasoning in decisions. Because
Each.
just the fact that he declared Ricci doesn't matter much. What matters is what was going on in his head, in their head, before they made this decision. This is crucial, and this is what makes the difference between a really skilled player, average player, beginner, and super top strong push-up player. So you have to be really humble and know your limitations and take good advice from other players and not just force your own methods, just thinking they're much better. What do you think? What do you think might be working? It may actually be what's the expression? Pulling you back, holding you back. Oh, this is it. Yeah, what you might be thinking works might be holding you back, and you just don't see that through the lens of variance, of mahjong variance, because it makes everything muddled. Okay, so now it just, oh, they managed to win. Nice. So the player A was pushing, last place was pushing. That's to be expected. Toyman, depending on their hand, if it's, because they also have last place avoidance in mind, and the distance between Toyman and Kamicha is not that big. So they might push or fold depending on their hand, and the same goes for Shimocha. The value of Renchan for them is quite low, in my opinion. Okay. So now we have 11.2 gap. So we need Hanuman. So in this case, we're just gonna secure second place because third place is Oya. One man. Let's start with 1 man. 1 2-pin. Yes. We're getting somewhere. 2-pin. 1 so. Aha. Okay. I pretend like I understand. 2-pin? No, not yet. Okay, now 2-pin. Yes, that's easy. That's easy though. Now 6 man, I think. This is Dora, so maybe it's better to get rid of it now. Yes. Ooh, scary guy. Gave us Dora. Okay. So 6 man 2-pin. Sumogiri, yes. Okay, now do we reach? So if we get Hatsu, this is Mangan. Not enough to overtake Shimocha unless we directly hit them. And it's Hatsu is Mangan even without Ricci. No, what am I talking about? It's not Mangan. So it's Hatsu Dora 2. It's 7.7. It's 5.2. But since, yeah, this is exactly the type of scenario that I also struggle with, as you can tell. So Ricci has the benefit of being able to run the 4-man. Kamicha is in a very desperate position. There's no way they can overtake us unless some Yakuman, which is not really possible in this case. So I don't know, maybe we might want to try just push Ricci and try to run Shimocha. Obviously not missing any other run because the priority is keeping second place. But Ricci allows us to run Shimocha. but 5.2 ron is not enough, so we have to ron houou. So we're not at risk at last place. That's what that makes it much easier and much more comfortable. There's not, I don't think we can get panicky when there's discomfort. That even dropping to second place is unlikely, unless we deal into something big from Toyman. So yeah, I would reach and hope to run houou from Shimocha, but take any run.
Each.
Good. Ipatsu. Yeah, take any run. Nice. Okay, well played. Well played. Now I wasn't judging the moves. I was just comparing them with my ideas. Okay, thank you for watching. And I'm not gonna sum up this video. It's already too long. All the points were mentioned, and I think everything should be clear. Did I learn anything useful? Not really. So first off, you have to watch a lot of games, and you have to look for specific scenarios that you know you struggle with. So these are two requirements. The third requirement is you have to have somebody in your environment who can at least guide you through the process and maybe try to reason with the high-level players to explain their decisions to you, or better yet, ask the player directly. So pick a whole player that you can get in touch with, and just. But like I said, they're gonna be annoyed by your questions. I don't think it's nice to do that. So you can also watch those games for entertainment. I had a lot of fun comparing the choices and seeing the differences, but like I said, in terms of educational value, not much. I would say not much, and especially like I said, for newbies, beginners, anyone below Tokujo, below mid Tokujo, who are very familiar with basic strategies, and maybe I'm not sure if it's the right had a brush with intermediate strategies or advanced strategies. Maybe for someone like this it could be fun and maybe somewhat useful, but like I said, studying with books, learning new concepts, learning theory, but most of all playing and analyzing your decisions and learning the correct decision process along with stronger players who will correct your logic, correct your misconceptions, is the best way to get stronger. And working on your biggest weaknesses, which can be easily found by working with stronger players, and then going from big mistakes to minor mistakes, and not the other way around. Because like I said, it's for the most part it's a waste of time, and you only think you're doing something useful, but you're stuck at the same level, and you keep doing the same mistakes because you're not working on your biggest issues. And remember that emotional factor is big in Mahjong. When you get panicky, when you get anxious in Mahjong, when you get angry or too happy, too comfortable, it all affects your decision making. So be aware of that. Maybe your problems are on the emotional side and not on the knowledge or expertise side. So yeah, always remember that. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye. Yo, it was fun, I tell ya.